In today's video, I'm going to talk about getting Zigbee from here in your house to here in your garage workshop. That's quite a long way away. So you can't go point. I've done it before using this video here, where we set up Zigbee2MQTT on Proxmox, so we've got a different device running things. But today I'm going to get rid of that, like this. So let's roll the credits and get straight into it. So once again, the audio decided not to record on this. So while you watch me unbox the thing, I'll tell you about it. I got a text through my phone, which is this one here. And SMLIGHT said they were going to send me stuff. Now, I applied ages ago, so they've sent me some things and asked me to review them. So this is the first one, and it's an SMHUB Nano, and it's a really cool device, which you'll kind of find out in a bit. As you can see, I'm taking it apart and trying to get it out of the bag and managing not to record myself properly, but it's there. It's all kind of set up. It's got this nice clever thing which they add to their things, which is a kind of template. So if you want to screw it to the wall, you've got a template to do it, which is great. It's got all the bits you need. It's got an aerial. It'll run on PoE. It'll run on USB-C power. So it just works. So I'm setting it up here, fiddling around with it. I'm about to put the aerial on to get it all set up, and then we'll get it going for its real purpose. There we go, now set up. I haven't got PoE here, I've used it somewhere else, so I'm using a data cable and a USB-C connector. And if you can just see, it's kind of talking to the internet. So in a second, I'm going to switch to the computer so we can kind of find where it is and make it work and kind of see what's going on. So let's do that now. So as normal, I use IP advanced scanners to find things. So this is me doing a scan. As you can see, the audio didn't work for this bit either. So it scans all my network, looks for things, and then I have a little hunt to see if I can find it, and here it is. So I switch to another browser and go to that IP address. Slight intermission now. I made a mistake, unusual for me, and what I actually did was I left Pi-hole on. Now Pi-hole is the thing that blocks adverts from my network. It seems like the update site for SMLIGHT is blocked as an advert, which meant I went round and round in circles and drank loads of tea. The update worked fine when I switched it all off, so we'll come back after a quick whiz through the update with an updated device. Okay, so this is the device. It's sat on my network now. It's all updated, as you can see. There's a green dot just there. I've got it set to English. So let's have a quick run through of what's here. As normal, I can't follow the instructions and do things in order. We're going to go straight to settings. So these are the settings that I've kind of set up or thought about setting. Some of them I've done. So I've set my time zone to London. I've left it as name SMHUB, so I know what it is. Ethernet, it comes back and tells me what's there. I can do I could have a fixed IP address if I wanted, but I like DHCP. Wi-Fi I could use if it was kind of in a building. Now, remember, I'm thinking about putting this in a building that I've got a network cable to. So I've got Cat5 cable, Cat6 cable, whatever going to, but I want to get Zigbee over there. So I don't really need Wi-Fi. I could if I wanted to, if there was no cable, but we're going for that case. USB, I think you can plug things into the USB drive. LTE, so it will work on a mobile network, which is another wonderful thing. If you've got a building in the middle of nowhere that's got Zigbee stuff in or Matter stuff in, you can put an LTE dongle in. Not going to do that today. MQTT, it can act as an MQTT broker, so it kind of could have everything contained in the setting. Again, I'm not doing that. I'm going to push the information back to my system, to my MQTT broker. Radios. Now, I'm going to want to be a Zigbee coordinator. And it's going to come back and say, what firmware versions have you got? Okay, have I got any more than that? Okay, so we'll have the factory one and I'll say update. Okay, it's flashed the radio. So I've now got a Zigbee coordinator. Okay, last two menus. You can do updates, you can apply auto updates. I've got the latest stable version. You can check for updates and you can reboot the device. The last one in alphabetical is WireGuard. Now this would be useful again if you were having a device that was kind of completely separate and you were going over the internet to get to things. So you could use WireGuard to put it on its own VPN. Okay, that's menu. We're just going to flip to Home Assistant to set something up there. Oops, I missed authorization. You can give a username and password that's on here. I will do that when it goes live, but for ease of use, I'm going to leave this in here now. So let's have a quick jump to Home Assistant. So in Home Assistant, I'm going to set a Zigbee2MQTT. So I'll go down to settings. I don't need to scroll anymore because it's always at the bottom, but you know how things are. Into apps, into my mosquito broker, into configuration. And I want to add a user, and I'm all prepared. A user called SMLIGHT, and the password of a good idea to get all the letters, and then click add. Okay, I'm not going to save it there, but I am going to save it there. Am I going to restart Mosquito Broker? Yeah. Okay, so we've got those users. So let's jump back to the SMHUB.
Okay, so quick run through the other things that are on here, which we did in Problem 1. Ladder Bridge, you can convert this what we set up as default. You can convert things to matter. Yeah, like that. You can run Node-RED. Node-RED is it's a programming type thing where you can make things happen. And Z-Wave.js, I have a multiple tree of Z-Wave. Actually, I have a multiple tree of Z-Wave 1. Z-Wave 2 is basically a lot better, but say Z-Wave, how I structured it. But I think one of those interested in is Zigbee2MQTT. Because what we want to do is we want to set this up and that in our other building. So, opening settings. I think he's got all these settings set up. Okay. The only thing we're going to have to change is the IP address of my server, which is over here. Let's copy that and paste it back in. So 133, and I need to put in the MQTT user and MQTT password. Now, as you just saw, I set that up. Again, that's the username. And that's the password. And I'm going to enable Home Assistant settings. I'm going to click Save. Okay, and I'm going to click Run. And now look at the logs. All right, I want to hang up and start. Okay, seems quite happy in there. I am a little bit concerned it said adapts this not better and that's that work. It seems to create its own config, which is a nice thing to be done. So back in controls, I'm going to say start at boot. I'm going to go back. So now if I go look here, there it is. Zigbee2MQTT. And I've got other videos on MQTT. There's a point in explaining all of this, tell you what's going. I'll put a link at the top of the screen if it goes through. And there's a couple that's worth watching. And they explain how to add things and parametry stuff. So let's prove it works by adding a device. So to add a device, Zigbee2MQTT, the device. So I've got a temperature sensor. And what you need to do is go down to hit join. And it'll start looking for devices for 5 minutes. Then you need to go to device and hold the reset button. I think it's 10 seconds, or maybe 10 seconds. I'm using a sync tool until it starts flashing. You let go. It's already found something. There we go. There's the device. So if I go, hit it here, I like what you call it, a build, yeah, yes. Update line assistant entity, bring a voice. There we go. I've got to go and check the sensor. Like a point. Okay, so let's just prove that point by going back to Home Assistant. Let's see that. Yes, my device is it won't appear in this Zigbee2MQTT because it's running on the device. What happened is if I go into settings and devices and services and for MQTT. Oh look, to go is temperature sensor. It's that easy or that easy. So I could add Zigbee devices quite happily in my garage. So let's wrap this stuff up and go through pros, cons, and all the other stuff that goes on. Okay, let's talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly. I'm still here. So the good, it's a device that just works. It's a device that's got loads of possibilities. It's a device that doesn't cost an arm and a leg. It's a device that for the purpose that I've given it to is absolutely brilliant because you can put it in an outbuilding and have Zigbee devices in there quite happily and then have the data back to your Home Assistant without putting loads of plugs in place or faffing about with Zigbee2MQTT on and Proxmox from somewhere else. It just works. It's just there. Okay, the bad. No, I've only got one bad thing. It's still in development. So I haven't had a problem, but you're getting stuff that's brand new. So I don't know. I need to say that. The ugly. I don't think I've really got anything. I've not really had a problem. The only thing that worries me a little bit is networking is only at 10 meg, but I'm talking about Zigbee here, which is the slowest form anyway. So 10 meg, 100 meg, it's not going to make any difference. I think I mean 100 meg, not gigabit. 10 meg is a very old system. 100 megabit, not 10 megabits. Anyway, so it's a great device. Now I put in there a comment, some links, but links to Amazon UK and a few other places where you can get it. So you can come go there. It's well worth the money because you'll be saving on getting an aerial from somewhere else. So you might get an SMB like 006 digit Zigbee, and they're around 20 to 30 quid anyway. So this is only slightly more. And it's giving you everything. Okay, that's it for this week. If you could like and subscribe, that would be good. And I'll see you on the next one. Unless you want to watch this one or this one. See you on the next one.